Classic. Classic. Dude didn't even check his microphone. Okay, yeah. Okay. So that was just me taking a minute to invite people. My audio settings are just always messed up when I start, aren't they? Okay, so I'm going to be doing a project related to Final Fantasy 1. It's something that's been in the works for literally over 7 years, but with a lot of hiatus. And I'm getting close enough that I want to talk about it. And I want to be able to talk about it because the gameplay that's going to come with this development is going to be ready soon. I say optimistically. And so I wanted to be able to explain the code and have kind of a separate stream of the explanation of the code separate from the gameplay so I could direct people to that when there's questions. Because what I've done, I think this is really cool. We're going to see. Now, there are reasons that I'm going to be fairly open about the fact that I'm using emulation to play Final Fantasy 1 today. You can't see it so much now, although it's probably pretty apparent, well, from the input display on screen. It's kind of funny. I'm not even using the newest and best emulators. I'm not even using my favorite emulators. I'm using one that I know is supported for one of the tool sets I'm going to be using, which the development for this project, like I may have said it, but maybe it was before I fixed my mic, was over seven years old. We started the project. So, yeah. This is not going to be action-packed and it's not going to be gameplay-heavy. It's going to be a little bit coding-heavy, but we're going to need the gameplay here. So, what you're seeing, if you're unfamiliar, is like the opening text crawl, you could say, of the original Final Fantasy. I've actually got a save here from when I was doing the Vowelless Knights playthroughs a few years ago, although it looks like I overwrote some of the character data in a way that might slightly spoil what I'm going to be doing. So let me pull up a fresh one. There we go. It is a thing of beauty. The Vowelless Knights. There they are. The original Vowelless Knights in all their vowelless glory. They can only use equipment and spells that don't match the letter that's banned for them. It was a weird thing. Whatever. The Vowelless Knights are not that important for what we're doing here. Anyway, since I'm talking about emulation, maybe I should show off a little bit of my collection. It happens that I've bought a lot of copies of Final Fantasy over the years, so just to say that I've paid the money you would pay for these products. I've got my original Final Fantasy cart where I'm actually covering up the thing where my mother wrote my name on it in nail polish, so if I loaned it to my friends, they couldn't keep it. My original card. I got nice cases printed for them a few years ago. That was actually stuff that was happening in my... I've also got Final Fantasy Origins. This one's got a slightly broken case and a sticker on it, and that's because this is the second time I bought it, because I don't know where my original copy was. This is actually probably my favorite version of the original Final Fantasy. The case just broke in my hands. Ancient. Very sad. This is a really good port of the original Final Fantasy. They didn't dumb it down the way they did in a lot of the future versions. I don't know where my Dawn of Souls is. It should be here. I probably put it somewhere else to show it off. Or maybe I was letting one of my kids play it. But yeah, I have Dawn of Souls. Where is it? This is the problem with having children. Is losing your things. I paid for Dawn of Souls. Then I got the mobile version of Final Fantasy 1 a few years later. And then I bought a Steam version of Final Fantasy 1, and I think I have 2 versions of the Pixel Remaster. I have the Steam one and a physical copy of the Switch one, which I really wanted. which my kids now play, and that's pretty cool. We played it a while. So, like, I've bought this game 10 times, so I'm not going to feel too bad about the fact that I'm emulating it. Maybe that's a weird rabbit hole to go down. I guess it's just because I don't really know where to start. Okay, so, like I said, I may have lightly spoiled what's going to happen. But we've got a few scripts running, including this one that displays the party information. And I've used that before in some of my older playthroughs. But what's cool is, I can run this script, and this script is designed to make the party behave like a set of monsters. And you can see the progress I've made here. It's actually overwriting my character statistics, although you can't really see... you can see it now, actually, I guess. Overwriting the character statistics with those of the enemy that they are set to behave like. It's even... I just got a camera on notification as if I were disconnected, but I don't think I am. Yeah. I've even made little images for them, and they display in the right place, and they move and everything. It's cute as hell. I think it's cute as hell. Unfortunately, the one thing is this old emulator version, this one happens to be from, I think, 2016 or something. I'm having a lot of trouble getting it to work with any of my modern controllers. Which I can barely believe. It's funny that seems like it was ages ago, but it was just 2016. 2016 was a pretty long time ago, I guess. Yeah, the party stats are only refreshed, I think, at the... No, it's not at the start of battle. But you know what it is? It's their base stats and not their in-battle calculated stats, and that's why their defense levels were a little bit high there. If we go into the next battle, you're going to see that's corrected. So, their evasion is what you'd expect. Whoa, freaky. Okay. This is something I was considering is... was the emulator going to chug, especially once I started running OBS? Now, I do have kind of a lot of programs open right now, so I don't know entirely what that was about. But... every handful of frames, it's reloading the images, it's reloading the stat blocks. So there was a chance that I was going to overdo it. And I think in the code, I'm going to have to find some efficiencies, especially because the code's not even fully done yet, and that's part of the purpose of this stream. So you can see the characters are fairly effectively behaving like monsters, but they do have their original weapons and stuff. And that's changing things, I suppose you could say. Whoa, that's freaky sounding. We'll get there. They also still have their original knightly magic. The wolf and the pirate are actually pretty strong. The reason I picked this party of really, really lame monsters was, well, partly to see what can these lame monsters do in the early game. But also, there was a threat. So, let me show you that. This is this really old Game FAQs thread. You can see this was October 2018, kind of 7 years ago, not even that far away. And I got talking to Fat Rat Knight, who I was vaguely familiar with from the TAS videos community. I used to have some... I didn't produce TASes, but I consulted on them a lot, I guess you could say. I was a rater. That wasn't a role or anything. I just chose to rate as many as I could, watch as many as I could, comment on as many as I could. I was supporting the community, and I liked that community. There was a lot of weird nerds there. A lot of really good weird nerds. There still are, I think. I'm not close to that community anymore. But anyway, Fat Rat Knight wrote this script that would intercept actions running in the emulator and basically repopulate the code with values loaded from memory. So every time a party member attacked, it would get a monster's statistics and write it into the party data. What's interesting about this is it fully works. There was a bug fix I needed to apply back in 2018. but it fully works. So let me bring up a new battle here. And I'm going to bring up this other script that Fat Rat Knight wrote that's almost unmodified by me. I've called it Monster Actions now. So observe what happens here. This is interesting. These are going to be, I believe, the same monsters. They're not interesting or powerful monsters, so what we're going to see is a little limited. Wow. Oh, the lag is an interesting thing. Where are my monsters at? Oh, there's one. Okay. So, my knights are back to being knights. And their stats are terrible, so frankly, this wolf might even stomp them. We'll see. So you can see that the magic command and item command have been, like, overwritten. And if I go to drink, like, I can drink a potion. Sure. If I pick magic, instead of showing the knight's magic list, it shows nothing. And if I pick item, instead of showing the knight's item list, equipment, it shows nothing. If I pick fight, I can attack this wolf. And what's happening now is Wolf is attacking with the exact stats of a wolf. The bone, I'm a little skeptical of that because he did 45 damage. I don't think it's possible for a regular skeleton in Final Fantasy 1 to do 45 damage to a wolf. Let's give that another look. Oh. 6 damage, that's about right. Pirates are pretty good on the offense, actually. Imps and bones, not so much. Now, imps do have a little bit of defense, so 24 damage is not unrealistic for a pirate. 27 might be for a bone. It's still nowhere near what these knights would normally be doing. So, basically, the action of attacking the enemies is being intercepted during runtime. And, yeah, let me see. Fat Rat Knight starts discussing it in this thread, and then he actually provides a paste bin. We didn't have any kind of useful workflow, Fat Rat Knight and I. This was 9 years ago, we weren't well acquainted, and I had shared something via Pastebin to show him a bit of my Lua coding. So it happens that he just threw this on Pastebin without an account and then couldn't edit it. It was really kind of silly. But this is still available, this Pastebin, of the Monsters as Players script that Fat Rat Knight wrote in October of 2018. Yeah. So this was some set of monsters. I think the reason that he picked monster 51, 115, 112, and 108 is actually just because those are kind of interesting monsters. I actually don't remember what those are. But if we were to go to like Astral Esper's, Astral Esper, Final Fantasy Mechanics, and something like that, yeah. If we go to 51... I feel like everything is lagging out on me right now. Like my find in page isn't working. Weird. Okay. Well, I'm looking for like Monster Index 51. Where's the monsters at? Ah, here we are. Oh, so 51 is the eye. That is indeed interesting. Because they've got a whole bunch of magic. They got 8 different magic spells and a set of special moves. They have interesting statistics. You can kind of tell when the eye is there. What was the next one that he included? 115 and 112. Let's look at those. I wonder if they might be off by one as well. Because 115... I think these were probably meant to be Evil Man and Fighter, instead of Bad Man and Mage. I think the indexes used by the game and the indexes used by the script were different, possibly because Lua is a freaky programming language, and Lua starts with table indexes at 1. So, yeah. Anyway, these monsters were picked because they were interesting. The way this thing works, Fat Rat Knight's preferred coding style is very different from mine. There's a lot of abbreviating that, you know, there's no kind of inherent explanation for what things mean unless you've got a pretty good taste of what the things do. He might not have really been intending it for another audience, and that's okay. I'm going to leave his work the way it is. I don't feel like I need to redo it. I didn't write it. So, yeah. There's a whole bunch of these functions defined. Get the monster's power. What? Increment the script's internal index. Yeah. So this is, if you've got monster magic spells or abilities. Oh, the game audio. If you got magic spells or abilities, it's going to like go to the next one in cycle and then keep that as a variable is what's happening. This is the one that loads the monster stats to the character. It even works with status attacks. If you have an enemy with a status attack, they can inflict negative status on characters. And there's a whole bunch of these. They don't use up MP because the monsters just have a spell list. They behave like monsters. And then there's this. Fat Rat Knight did this thing where he didn't care about the animation bytes. There's no animation bytes for things like enemy skills like Frost and Heat and Gaze and Thunder and whatnot. So they're all default. I ended up applying some. I put in some bytes that I thought might look nice for those. And then there's this hard-coded list of skills. This is something that he kind of hated. I know that. Anyway... So these here are interrupts. And basically what it does is every time a certain subroutine is being called in the emulator's processing, in the NES's processing, it calls one of these functions. And by calling these functions, it's instead like making the behavior that the game was going to do be informed by the results of these functions. So it's overwriting values in memory so that the game behaves as if it was a monster doing that action instead of the player. So the way Fat Rat Knight's script works, it's really amazing. Really does make the characters act like monsters. Where part of the limitation was, first of all, the way it displays, which it doesn't really display at all. The monster's HP isn't overwritten, because Fat Rat Knight was approaching this with the philosophy of, I don't want to modify the original game. And that philosophy of not modifying the original game also meant that certain out-of-battle features, like the surprise rate, weren't informed by monster statistics, and I thought that was important. So I started adding things to my party information display script. I'm just trying to get organized here. So it does things like write a character's information, write the monster's information into the character slot. So when you're running my party info script, oops, I've opened the wrong thing here. Stop. Browse. Party info. Run. When I open the party info script, these characters are actually, even their names are being overwritten based on the enemy statistics. They actually have all the statistic values for those monsters. If you know anything about older Final Fantasy games, you know that monster stats and character stats, while they share some elements in common, they rarely line up one-to-one, right? Monsters don't need luck. Monsters don't need intelligence. For that matter, intelligence is bugged in Final Fantasy 1 and doesn't even do anything. Tells you something about the state of the world, doesn't it? Anyway, what is interesting is, where I could recalculate base values, I did so. Oh, that's so freaky. Okay, we're gonna need some fixes in here. For a regular character in Final Fantasy 1, if you have no weapon equipped, your damage value is equal to your strength value divided by 2. So basically, every character's strength value, every monster's strength value, is just their damage value times 2. This ends up exceeding 99 for some monsters, and so it's just capped at 99, and I thought that was fine. It doesn't do anything, it's just for display purposes. Intelligence and vitality, likewise, don't really do anything. Vitality I calculated using the monster's hit points. Intelligence and agility, it is interesting, actually have values exclusive to newer versions of the game. So I opened up my copy of Pixel Remaster, and one by one, I wrote in the agility and intelligence values for every monster. You can see the bones literally have 0 intelligence, skeletons. Imps have 3 agility and 1 intelligence. Wolves have 18 agility and 1 intelligence. It actually turned out that their agility value was just half of their evasion value in all cases. But it was actually recorded in Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster, so I went with that. The intelligence value, I had a calculation for it, but I ended up just using the one that exists in Pixel Remaster. So those are for display, but their damage, their hit percent value, their absorb, which is their defense rating, and their evade value, those are just the actual ones that exist in memory for those monsters. So like this is actually a reflection of how pirates work in Final Fantasy, and how imps work, and how bones work. So it's working. There's some things that I can clean up when we're looking at the actual party information. There's some parts where the documentation is loosey-goosey, and some parts where the style is inconsistent. Lua doesn't have a consistent style guide. I went with something a little bit Python-like. It seemed right to me. And then I found out that I started getting certain warnings based on the way I named things. So I know that there's cleanup to do. Now, I don't think documenting my script is going to be the right way to do this, although this is... I hate having undocumented methods, and I've also learned there's a type of docstring that exists in Lua. So, like, if I... This is the one that encodes a piece of ASCII text, like a string value in Lua, and converts it into the bytes that Final Fantasy reads, and then it, like, writes... the 4 letters of a monster's name to the character's name. So it overwrites the character's name with the monster so it can be displayed better in combat. So this write name, this is encodes a monster's name as text into Final Fantasy 1's table bytes for characters, and writes the monster's name into memory as the character's name. That way it'll be clearer what the characters are when I actually get to the gameplay. I could document this a little bit more, but it's fine. And I thought about, do I want to support other punctuation? But the other punctuation, even though it exists in Final Fantasy 1, isn't in any of the monsters' names, so I got rid of that. This is... I have a cat. Drawing one character's heads-up display. This is an older one. I wrote this in probably like 2016 or so. Thank you, Mr. Cat. This is great. Okay. It writes the character's HP value. It uses kind of like based on how healthy they are. Their health either shows up in green, red, or white. It notes their statuses. A character, if they have one status, it writes this cute little icon and then what status they have. And if they have more than one status, it prints multiple icons and in the appropriate colors. It looks really good. It's not too often you're going to have multiple statuses applying to you, unless, I don't know, you're applying haste or something. But it's cool to see. Yeah, these are writing all the different status icons if you have more than one status. It's a bit complicated for what it is, frankly. And it's kind of funny, because like this is a whole bunch of consecutive if statements. And I say this because, you know, it's possible that some of the people who have been teaching about if and elif... God. Cat problems. It probably looks funny having multiple consecutive if statements, but we actually are checking multiple different conditions and writing the icons for multiple different conditions. So, yeah. I should also say the programming language used for all this is Lua. This project has actually involved 3 different programming languages, at least 3. Depending on how you talk about it, you could say there's at least 4. Lua is used to interface with the emulator. I used Python for a lot of the image manipulation and a couple of cleanup scripts related to the monster data. Just little things. Kind of one-offs. They're not interfacing with the script. But there's also a C# component. So, is there more I want to talk about before I get into the C# component? This is writing the monster stats. Again, it's undocumented. It's a little on the yucky side. The monster stats script was never working great, but, this is the thing where it will actually show, the Imp's HP as 8 out of 8, and it will also show, oh no, this fight's going badly. Oh, Wolf versus... Okay, we died. We died, but I was in fast forward, so you couldn't tell. Okay. Can Imp, Wolf, Bone, and Pirate defeat Wolf? So we're going to see, as the Wolf takes damage, its health goes down, and it stops displaying in green. Wolf hits Wolf with a sword, because this is hilarious. Yeah. Great. And then at the end, the characters turn back into knights. I don't really have a solution for that, and I don't care. I'm picturing this being, if you're a Final Fantasy nerd, I'm picturing the behavior being the Morphers from Final Fantasy Tactics Advance 1. It's the only Final Fantasy game that has Morphers, as far as I know, and they're these little old guys who, based on which monsters they've defeated, they can turn into copies of that monster. Yeah, it'd be kind of cool if I could make sprites for that, but I don't know about that. These sprites weren't custom made. These are basically resizing the existing game sprites. But they look cool to me, I think. They don't dance at the end of battle, but that's a little on the sad side. Okay, so what does monster stats do? This is displays monster hit points and status effects. And that's really all it does. It has a very similar set of behaviors to the players. This one overwrites a character's statistics with those of their selected monster. Okay. And then this one is the one that draws a monster sprite over the character's position. This is where our actual sprites come from. It actually gets the character's X and Y coordinate out of memory for whichever character we're looking at, and draws them using kind of an arithmetic-based drawing thing. And it's getting... I've got a data structure, a Lua data structure, a class, you could say, objects of the monster. I say objects, but it's Lua, so it's a table. The monsters are actually recorded like this. This is actually how the monsters are stored. This happens to be the end of the list, so you can see like the final bosses there. But if we go to like I, that we talked about earlier, I actually do store hard-coded versions of their stats instead of getting everything from memory. And that's actually partly because of the other application that this interfaces with. I guess I should show you that. Okay, so tucked away, I have made a C# application. I might not have included the source code on this machine at all. I didn't. Okay. Well, I'll just show you the program. So this is a Windows application. Part of the reason I wanted to do this is it was close enough to something that one of my classes was doing that I was like, hey, that'd be sweet. I wanted to customize both a list view with a grid in it and a set of combo boxes. So the way this works is, this is fun. Let's talk about that party from earlier. So, interesting enemies. Let's pick I. Evil Man was one of them. Evil Man. We're basically picking high-powered enemies with an interesting moveset. How about like a Naga? Nagas are weird. And, I mean, you can pick whatever monsters you want. So if I pick Pirate and a bunch of weak enemies. I had nominated Spider as one of the weaker enemies in the game, and then someone told me, like, Spiders are actually kind of good in the early game. They're better than Imp. One thing that's funny is Chaos and Red Gargoyle, Horned Devil in the newer versions, does not display. And for some reason, that's been a real, I could say, bugbear for me. Wolf. Maybe I'll take Zombie, too. Zombies are pretty trash. Well, 10 damage is not the worst. Oh, did you see what happened? I wasn't even paying attention to the game, but my characters all turned into eyes. Look at the freaky sprite! It's so funny. Okay. What other monster is interesting? What about, like, a boss? Oh, Wizzogres are neat. Let's pick Astos. Maybe we need another character with a special. They had picked Fighter. Fighter doesn't have a special. Oh, we want Imp. Jimura's got something. Okay, so check this out. It populates the combo boxes based on what's selected in the list. As soon as I changed the party, and so it defaulted to I when I was the first monster I picked, all of the party members, like, it gets saved to a file, and the file is parsed at runtime into the other scripts. So if I pick I'll pick a bunch of interesting monsters. Look at what happened over in the game. Fighter. The Wizzogre shows up. Oh, the sprites look terrible on these bigger monsters. Astos. Well, having Astos and Fighter is a little bit silly. But, yeah, this is fine. These are interesting monsters, anyway. What if I pick Jimura? We'll do them in HP order, but the same monsters I had just picked. That satisfies my compulsions. Okay, so I picked my party. I also have in this thing a way to save monster availability arbitrarily, so I call this like my availability. And then that works. And then I go save party setup, and it's like my party setup. I saved it kind of badly, but that's okay. That way I can reload it later if I'm between different play sessions. So you can see, look at my terrible looking characters, they're hilarious. I think I need a solution to this. They look so bad. I might have to clean up the sprites a little bit, but honestly, this is working better than I expected. I haven't tested these together yet. This is pretty great. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna heal up. Maybe I will use a... Oh, wow. We have yet to determine how we're gonna make this thing stop freaking out. I'm gonna leave that as is. So, Jime here. We should be able to see... let's bring up Gamer Corner Guides. Who doesn't love Gamer Corner Guides? And if I search for... Jimura. Better sort by name. This site is so old looking, but it's like really responsive and good. I'm a big fan of this. Okay, Jimura. Isn't that funny that it counts as a dragon? Even the monster status, well, actually, monster type doesn't matter, but the elemental weaknesses and things are actually accounted for in Fat Rat Knight's script. So we can see that the hit points are 350. Damage for a Jimura is 40. So that lines up there. That makes the strength 80. The number of hits is 4. That's kind of cool. The hit rate is 118. So I guess I don't know what's going on with that. Why would that be calculating as 70? Absorb is 18. That's accurate. Magic defense we can't see outside of combat. And the evasion... Evasion, I guess you could say, is wrong? Hard to say. Maybe Gamer Corner Guides has the wrong information, because that's out of memory. Okay. Fighter. 40 damage. 106 hit, something freaky happened there. 38 absorb. You know what this is? This is, the number that Gamer Corner Guides is displaying is a little different from the way it's actually calculated and stored in the game. And same with this. Okay. Wizogre. Wizog. Wizogre. Okay. Maybe I will open up a page for each of these, by the way. Wizogre. Dime. I had I, right? And, what's the other? Fighter. Okay. So, right now the characters are those particular monsters, right? Well, these 4 should be able to rather dominate these early game enemies. These are all pretty good. Like, Naga has really low attack power, but these ones don't. So I just did 2 hits, I believe. That was I. Wizogre did 2 hits. Fighter did 2 hits. I'm starting to think that might not be accurate because the characters have weapons equipped. Because a Wizogre has, I think, 1 hit, right? Jimera should have 4 hits. I think that's probably not applying. The idea is funny to me. Okay. Let's stop my party info script and load up monster actions. This is again the script that Fat Rat Knight wrote. It has 1 bug fix. The bug fix was one that was recommended by Fat Rat Knight eventually. So like, there was a part in this thread where I tested the thing, ran into a couple crashes. This is me testing it something like... Oh my goodness. Exactly 7 years ago? Exactly 7 years. And I ran into a couple of crashes, and eventually Fat Rat Knight had some solutions. This one. This was checking whether the game was accessing Bank 0C. Bank C. And then there was also this about getting the skill text to work. So this might work now. Honestly, this is fully untested. This could break right now. We're probably going to experience, if it doesn't work, a hard crash. By the way... Oh, I didn't pick run. Here, I'm gonna run away from the battle, and then I'm gonna run the script. 2 different kinds of running. Oops, I forgot to run the script. I'm gonna run away from battle again. Okay, I'm gonna click run. That way, when the character stats get initialized, they'll be those of the monsters. Changing monsters mid-battle isn't really accounted for by Fat Rat Knight's script, so we don't want that. Okay, so you can see kind of there's a difference here. The party information isn't displaying, but they should be behaving exactly like the monsters. That includes their statistics, but also even the magic and special commands, which aren't displaying correctly right now. So, if I pick magic with a Jimera, we are actually expecting it to fail. It should show nothing, because Jimeras don't have magic, but they do have special abilities. So if I pick magic, it goes nothing. If I pick the bottom option, this is actually that it's supposed to actually read the ability that's going to be used, and that seems to not be working. I seem to remember it working. Again, we're working on like a really old emulator version, so I don't know. Okay, that didn't work. That's not promising. Something has gone wrong. This one's working. Look at that. Glare, okay. Or stop. How come some monsters work and others don't? Could it be because I has both magic and special? Okay, we're gonna do a test. Okay, here is the test. First of all, that was a partly successful test, because we are talking about I was able to pick the monsters using this application. And it automatically got read into the game. Like, that was pretty clear. Okay, we want to pick a bunch of monsters that have specials and spells. So, what do we got? Nagas do not apply. Specials and spells? That's pretty rare. Kraken, too. Like, literally, the final boss is a good example. Tiamat is a good example. Nagas are not. Nightmares are not. How many enemies have both specials and spells? None of the dragons, I don't think. I don't think the dragons cast magic in this game. Ooh, that's a delightful spell. I think both versions of Tiamat. Maybe only the second one? I think definitely the second one. I'd be a little surprised if Whizvamps didn't. Okay. We're going to keep I. The leader will be Kraken 2. The secondary person will be Tiamat 2. And the Wiz Ogre we're going to replace with the Wiz Vamp, I think. We could also use Phantom. Phantom would work. But let's give this a shot. That should be updating automatically. I'm not even going to change the configuration at all. Let's just get into another fight. Okay, it's kind of weird, but because the party info script was running originally, the characters' stats were overridden with Jimera, Fighter, I, and Wizogre, and that includes their names. So their names are not accurate right now. What we're going to see in their behaviors, well, if we're going to see anything, we're going to see it in their behaviors. Now, Kraken, unfortunately, doesn't seem to be showing magic or item. Neither does Fighter. Wait, Tiamat too. I works. Wizogre, who is a Wizvamp, does not work. What about if character 1 picks I? Okay. So their stats are all screwy right now. What? Oh, that's Phantom's second, or I's second spell. Okay, Glare. Phantom not working. Is it for some reason only working in the third character position? If we replace I with Jimera. That didn't work. It must be an initialization thing, so we'll start another battle. Oops, okay. Oops, okay. This is... I really shouldn't be fast-forwarding. I'm being a bit of a nincompoop here. The glare ability, the skill name fix worked, and the animation fix worked. Like, the animation's actually great. If you don't know Final Fantasy 1 on NES, that's probably going to be like, are you sure that's great? Come on, that's kind of crappy. Well, fine. I am not pleased with how this is going, though. Something's wrong. And this is in Fat Rat Knight's script, not in anything I did. Which is weird, because I had some success with this 7 years ago. Still using I. You know what? I think I know what it is. I think I need to restart the script for it to work. Okay, I've restarted. There we go. Stop. Jimera is nothing. The Lance? But Phantom has spells. Okay, so Phantom is working. Oh. Okay, that worked really nicely. Phantom. Phantom doesn't even have glance. Could it be that the IDs are wrong? We're going to pick all I, and we're going to see if Okay, they all are acting like... Wait a second. They're off by one. They're off by one. Look at that. This is... Phantom. Okay. We're gonna be able to apply our first actual coding fix here. Although, I must say, this is a little bit funny because the party info script, it's just straight up working. Every time it retrieves the party members. It only reads in the actual file every once in a while. I gave it like 20 frames or something. Unfortunately, I'm not used to the organization of this, and it's not naturally very organized. I kind of kept bringing things in from other scripts, right? Like the enemy info script, the party info script. This thing's actually borrowed from Fat Rat Knight because it was just the easiest way to write 2 bytes to memory. Ooh, that's freaky. So read monster files returns the indexes. That works for monster actions, and it does not work for... Sorry, that works for party info. I could be a little sloppy and just subtract 1. So, actually, part of what I wanted to do today was literally... combining these into one file. Because this older emulator version of FCEUX only allows you to run one Lua script at a time. And so I was like, I need one Lua file. And when I use requires... unfortunately, I get a conflict because both of them are using a bunch of C written libraries. So I kind of do want to combine them into one file. It's going to be a bit of a Herculean file. It's going to be multi-purpose and kind of nasty. But it's going to be nice running one file and suddenly your entire party is looking, behaving, and writing as having monsters. Like, this has got some problems, clearly, but it's actually kind of close. So eventually... this one read that happens at the start of the monster action script is going to be kind of embedded in the other one, and I'm not going to need to refresh it every time I want to run it. Okay, so looks like we now have I. So what if we go back to a more interesting party that we talked about? So having like fighter in there. Naga, Jimera, Fighter, Whizvamp? Okay, so here's Naga. Naga can cast Lit 2. Jimera can use Cremate. Fighter can use Wall. Whizvamp can cast A-Fire or use Dazzle. Okay, this is working now. That was a hacky fix. It's something that will need some investigation, but it's working. You know, I bet there's like a +1 sitting in some of the functionality that Fat Rat Knight wrote. Cremate's pretty strong, I guess. Which I suppose you might expect from the name. What monster only has glance? Yeah, that actually was what directed me to it. What monster only has glance is, what monster does only have glance? It's funny because this monster list, I alphabetized it so it would be easier to use. Maybe it's not. Because in the game's internal order, I think all the eye friends are together. So I think the monster that only has glance is probably Big Eye. Glance. Isn't Glance the one that petrifies? It might be Medusa. You wrote that a while ago. But, you know. Okay, let's throw a Medusa in there. And, did I save that? Oh, I don't have to save that, it just writes. Okay. So, restart. Okay, Kraken with Lit 2. Kraken is also, or sorry, it's Naga. Naga has pretty terrible attack for a late game enemy. Here's a Medusa who can cast Glance. Fighter can cast Wall. I'll waste a turn using A-Fire with the Whizvamp because it's interesting to me. There's actually a funny bug affecting Whizvamps in the original game where their A-Fire never targets themselves. But also, I think weaknesses override strengths in the original game, so... Plants. Cool. Okay, so I guess Medusa... I think what we observed is that the index is being off by 1. Medusa is like 1 step after Phantom in the enemy order. I'd probably need to bring up Astral Esper's guide again to confirm that. Technically, Gamer Corner Guides does index the monsters by ID. I think. It seems to have pulled in my sorting, and there's no ID column to sort by. Did I keep Astral Esper's guide open? Does the internet hate me right now? Okay. Let's see. Where's Medusa in here? Look at this. It's a freaking text file and my browser's chugging. Okay. Medusa. You say you can't find Medusa, but I know you can. Yes. So, the reason in the first place, it was a good troubleshooting question you actually asked there, Mr. Jube, was, you know, because Phantom's index 52 and Medusa's index 53, they were all off by 1. And just knowing that Medusa is one of a few monsters that only uses Glance, that told me exactly what was happening. Okay. So we've got both of the Lua scripts working. The C# application that allows you to track monsters and select your party is working. Things are pretty good. Now, I do think I'm very likely to break a lot of things when I start copying in the interrupts from Pat Rat Knight's program and putting them in my other script. But ultimately, I know I'm going to want to do it, so... yeah. In terms of what else I actually want to do, if I wanted an easier win, and I do mean an easier win, I want there to be a feature that's a little bit like the way I anticipate this playthrough working is you start with a terrible party of monsters, and it would be that party I started with. Imp is crappy. Pirate has better damage than an Imp, but it's like 6 hit points. Bones are pretty bad, and Wolf is pretty bad. And there was a post, again, back in the olden days when the Final Fantasy 1 board on Game FAQs was talking about this, where, who was it? Yeah, Game Enjoyer here. Was saying, this is the weakest party of monsters. I want to introduce a feature where you can level up monsters to a minor degree, and what I'm thinking is, for every monster you catch, Pokemon styles, basically just slaughter them. Because that's what Pokemon is, right? For every monster you defeat, it gets added to the list, and then you can be that monster. But also, every monster added to the list would give like a small HP bonus to make the late game a little more palatable. And I think every level would also give one. So I was thinking like 2 hit points per monster met, or 2 hit points per level, or 1 for one of those, or both of those. I don't know what the right mix is. But like, You know, monster hit points don't really get that high. At endgame, you really find enemies around 400-ish. And really, those are the kind of stats you would expect an in-game party member to have. But also, an endgame encounter with 4 Jimmeras in Final Fantasy is not unheard of. So how are you going to defeat 4 350 hit point monsters with 4 350 monsters, at least with any level of reliability? It's not like your tactics can only carry you so far. So I like the idea of the monsters having at least a little bit of growth or progression. And I was thinking, like, the mechanism for that would be, have you beaten enough monsters? And levels, I thought, they should still do something. So if you were to gain, say, 2 hit points per level, the level cap in Final Fantasy 1 is 50. You could get like 100 bonus HP by leveling up, so your monsters gradually just become a little stronger than they would natively be. And then if you were to get, say, 1 hit point for every monster you've beaten, there are 128 monsters in the game. Some of them are only at endgame. That does include the end boss. So you could get, like, you know, between leveling and completing the list of monsters, 200 bonus HP for every monster. Just make them a little more survivable. But I'd like to work that in. I do actually have a way to count the number of available monsters. I built that, and I think it's currently unused in Lua. I do use it in the C# application. So what I want to do, this is the easier win. This is easier than merging the 2 scripts. It'll be an update to party info. look at the funny little... Oh, that's neat! Look at the stone imp. Oh, this is golden. Let me show you that. It looks funny, right? The Whizvamp looks really silly. I'm gonna do a little bit of work on the monster sprites, for sure. I don't know. They're cute and funny, but they don't look very much like the actual monsters. Oops. Lost my game. Okay. Yeah, once I turn off the monster action script and turn on the party info script, I now have my original knight spells. Yeah, this old emulator sucks. Quite truly. Okay, so if I were going to give the monsters an HP upgrade, you know, if I get 1 hit point per level, I don't know if I actually know where the characters' levels are in memory. So this is going to be a little bit of a memory surfing experience here. It's going to be kind of interesting. Did that change to monster AD just change the stat screens as well, or just the in-combat stuff? Fat Rat Knight's script from 2018 is explicitly overwriting battle behaviors. So it does write to memory, but only as part of a subroutine run in combat, so it doesn't change the stat screens. Now, when I change the script from the monster action script to the party info script that I wrote, it does make it so that the monster stats should show up on the status screens. So, oh, okay. This is me not having my controller. These are Naga statistics here. But this is because of my script, not Fat Rat Knight's. Fat Rat Knight's, it's like literally the memory addresses that are passed into subroutines that the NES is executing by ID. So it doesn't actually modify the character data at all. And Fat Rat Knight really had that as a goal. Like, I want the game to be the original game as much as possible. Whereas I'm like, screw that. I want this to be as authentically monster behavior as possible without that much regard for the original behaviors of the game. Because I don't know. Besides the combat behaviors, this is getting close. I've got monster stats. I've got monster sprites such as they are. They're hilarious. We got a little whiz vamp with his sword. It's cute. Okay, let's make some changes to the code here. Okay, so the file access one is from a thing called files.getAvailable that's imported. So if I get the number of available monsters, that is how many monsters are checked. So this is not the script I want to change. When I write character status, right here. Okay. So this line here is this is write the monster's hit points to max hit points to the character's max hit points. And we see okay. Oh, that's more like it. This is what it's like when I code in class so that people can see what I'm writing. This one is if the monster's current HP is higher than their max HP, change their current HP to the max HP. So basically, it's if you exceed the cap, so to speak. That's a little nicer. Set your HP to the cap. Now, what I'm hoping to do is I get the monster's HP. Okay. I'm gonna do like a local new HP value, something like that, equals monster HP. Get a default value. The monster HP is a monster passed into this function. The monster as a Lua table, which is effectively a Lua object, has a property called HP that I can kind of use HP as a key to access. So I'm going to set the HP value equal to the monster's HP. I'm going to need to be able to get the character's level. Now I have defined a set of memory addresses for... This is a party member's current HP, party member's maximum HP, party member's status. And the character stats start at offset 6802. So I open up my memory search. This is way better on newer emulators. I hate what I'm about to do. But I go to memory address 6802. Sometimes on this monitor, you can't tell as much as I can, but the resolution of my side monitor is poor. And sometimes I'm looking at it and I can't tell a B from an 8. And it's not because my eyes are terrible, even though I wear glasses now. These glasses are practically just for fun. Okay, 6802. Where is my character's level? Naga is level 17. Well, I could probably do a memory search for 17. Oh, isn't that funny? There's none close to 6802 at all. Ah, here we are. 6817. Okay, so if 6802 starts the character data, 6814 is the next piece of character data. Oh, these are in battle. Okay, so 6811, this is going to make the difference. 611. I'm still a little bit surprised to not see a very, very obvious level 17 sitting here. But I guess we got 40 bytes to look at. There's an 18 sitting here. $18 is like 17. Whoa. Oh, those are like, Actually, I'm not sure what those are. Those are probably unlearned spells. And then we get into our next character. 6. So 6 is actually their character class. The character classes are stored as Fighter, Thief, Black Belt, Red Mage, White Mage, Black Mage, Knight. And so 6 is, this is a Knight. But I should be looking at 6110. Okay. So I don't see anything that's clearly a character level. These very large values are probably experience. It looks like byte 10, or 16 rather, is the character's strength. Does that make sense? It does. Okay. So this is the character's strength. I wonder, the level 17, is it possible that level isn't stored in memory at all? And it just gets calculated based on their experience points? That would be weird. Let's open up a little RAM map here. So we go to like Data Crystal, Final Fantasy RAM map. Yep. Okay. These are sometimes pretty good, but I've found a lot more memory addresses than this thing had. Okay. Here's our character bytes. Those line up with what I know. Character status, ID, name, experience. So byte 6 is like nothing? I wonder if that's a 5th letter of their name. It's saying that 6107 is the current experience low byte, and 8 is the current experience high byte. But I'm not seeing that. It would be a lot more than 22. Name 1, name 2. So Naga. So 138. It's probably because I have these on his sign. No. Oh yeah. Okay. So the things that I thought were experience values are actually NAGA, which is a bit silly. The 22 is apparently the experience low byte. Doesn't make sense. Okay, 9. No data? Okay, so a Naga's hit points are 356. So what we're seeing here is their hit points are 256. This is the high byte. So 1 times 256 plus 100. So 356. So these are the hit points. That's accurate. Where is level? Oh, look at this. Look at this. 26. Level -1, it offsets at 0. Aha! Okay. The RAM map had exactly what I needed. And it's funny because I remember when I said 18, that's like 17, and that 18 turned out to be the Naga's strength there. This is funny. Okay, you know what? That's actually really good. So that means that at level 1, technically you have 0 extra hit points. I think I like that. Like, I think I'm going to just use that raw value as an HP bonus. So the actual offset for level is 26, it turns out. Okay, so we'll do exactly that. We'll pop in here, level, party, level, off, equals 0x26. Yeah. There's 40 bytes. That's actually the last thing before the spell data is what it looks like. So this is location of level. Technically, level -1. Which is great. Literally just going to straight up steal that and add it to their hit points. I think the idea of getting close to 100 hit points off levels is a good idea. So we're going to go like local HP from level equals memory.readbyte. Because this Lua code is running in the emulator environment, the functions that exist in the emulator aren't part of my development environment, so like my annotations, my IntelliSense isn't readily available. So, yeah. How does when does write monster stats work? Okay, it's character 1 base offset. Okay, so I go base offset plus character. I wish I named things better. Okay, let's go level. Okay, so what that does is reads 1 byte from memory at whichever character's offset is passed into this function, and it adds to that offset the... Oh, look at that funny thing. Adds to that offset the party level offset. So it combines those two things to a memory address and reads 1 byte out of memory, and it's going to put that in HP from level. And then I'm going to add in local HP from catches? Is catches a cool thing to say? And it's going to be files dot get available, which I believe just returns a number. Okay. Okay, local. I'm gonna use a lot of names here. I haven't used a lot of constants, but this is gonna be like a per level bonus. And you can set it to 0 if you don't want a per level bonus. HP, extra HP per character level. And then this is going to be a local per monster bonus. 1 extra HP per monster pot. So we'll multiply this by per level bonus. And we'll multiply this by per monster bonus. And then... plus HP from level, plus HP from catches. And instead of writing the monster's HP, we will write new HP value. Let's see how that works. In order to know how this works, we're going to need to know our level. Our level for Naga, at least, is 17 on screen, but stored as 16. So it's going to be 16 times 2. It's going to add 32. And our catches is the number of monsters that we have on this list, which actually displays here as 19. So if this is working, and it's somewhat complicated to test this, so I'm not testing this as much as I should or as fully as I should, but whatever. We're talking about 32 plus 19 equals 51. Right? And if Naga's HP right now is 356, then the actual HP we're expecting to see is 407. Our favorite toll highway, right? Non-toll highway? I didn't restart the script, did I? Every so often we're getting artifact sounds. Okay. Here we go. I actually don't even need to go into a battle to see if it's working. 407. That should be affecting all of them. So the Medusa has the same 51 extra hit points. Or Medusa's base hit points 80? $68. Oh, they have 2 extra hit points because Medu is 1 level higher. So they have 53 extra hit points, and 68 plus 53 is 121. Cool. Fighter also gets 53, so if their base hit points are 200, then this is working. Alright, cool. I actually gave myself a little bit of a list here. Explain the party script, the party app, the monster actions. That one's not done. Write something to customize the monster HP values. That's working exactly the way I want. The last thing left is get monster actions to work with party info, which is the scariest part. Because we are talking about the script that is full of emulator interrupts. It's probably better, and it's awkward. It was written by someone else 7 years ago, and I'm sure I could probably pull that person if I needed to. Assuming they're well. I haven't connected them with them really since pandemic, so who knows? Okay. Monster actions. How portable is this thing? See, this is where big games had to use bank switching back in the olden days, right? And there's a lot of things here that I don't fully understand because it's somewhere between the Lua stuff and the what's essentially assembly code that's happening. And that's what I worry about, is moving things that I don't fully understand. Oh, and the other thing is things like this. So this script was only tested on FCEU X 2.2.3, which was released in, I think, 2016. And it actually depends on a minor bug. so I can't use newer emulators as much as I would love to. Really, I would probably prefer BizHawk because its support for Lua scripts is way better. It's got a really good Lua console where you can run multiple scripts concurrently. And I once did something like that, but now last time I tried it, I was getting a lot of conflicts. Okay. If I were to literally copy and paste hunks of this into my other script, how temperamental would it be? I think I should change char to mon IDs. Well, actually, that might not matter because of how it's used in the other script. I was thinking about if I fill this with actual function calls, it'll refresh the party live. Where does this use char to mon IDs? I think it uses it a lot. Okay. Everything so far is looking really safe. It's mostly just functions, and the functions aren't doing things that affect the emulators advancing. Like a lot of scripts that customize UIs in older games, or even interaction, depend on kind of like running basically a while true loop with advance one frame as the last instruction in the loop. Because these scripts, for the most part, are designed to run once per frame. So if one of these does something to the emulation state, it could conflict with my script, which, because of all the changes it makes to the user interface, including literally drawing the monsters onto the screen, it's very important that it advances to the next frame. So I'm looking for conflicts now. This isn't good content, is it? And again, I didn't write this. I don't fully understand it. It was funny. I don't know. Monref. Yeah, there was some concern about just the nature of Monref. It's Fat Rat Knight actually included a note in this script that was about the nature of Monref. Look at this, look at this. I worry if Monref does too much. It takes the character index and returns an address. So this is where we get the char to mons IDs. But if char to mon IDs is only set up, like that would need to happen every frame. And I don't want to get new monsters every frame. That's a lot of file access. That's going to make this thing crawl a little bit. Maybe it won't. But I am going to have to refresh the monster IDs, because this one literally only populates them once. Okay, load monster to character. MA is monster address, PA is player address. And people who've been in my programming courses kind of know I'd be saying, like, why don't we just call it what it is? This doesn't take extra time. Frankly, I don't know Lua well enough to say whether this does impact the runtime a lot. Maybe my verboseness in naming and things. It's funny because you talk about verboseness, and like Fat Rat Knight writes good, detailed comments. The code is not terribly hard to understand, despite things like, W1U, I actually do understand. It's write 1 byte unsigned. It's fine. What this line is actually doing, for example, is so again, monster address and player address, right? So it's saying like write to the player address the base player statistics plus 5 positions, because that's where their hit rate is stored. Get the value for the monster statistics at this offset where their accuracy is stored. It's like, go get the monster accuracy from one unsigned byte and write it into this unsigned byte that represents the player accuracy. And it only does it during the routine that would be utilizing the accuracy of the character, so it doesn't overwrite their base stats. Technically, I think it is an overwrite of their in-battle stats, but that doesn't matter too much. You know, this is hits, but this is referring to the hits multiplier, not the actual hit count. I wonder if that's been accounted for. Okay, here's where we start seeing more of the interrupts. You know, these first few subroutines, functions, were basically helpers. We need to load the character stats, whatever. These interrupts are where the processing from this script is actually happening. It's interrupting a routine being done by the console and calling the function. Likely need to mess up permanent stats. That's what I did. Yeah. Allow status attack. So, yeah, in this case it's, we have a character, we get the monster's status attack byte, and we write the status attack byte to the character. And this is interesting because Final Fantasy 1 does not have character status attacks. There's no way to inflict poison or sleep on monsters with a regular attack. So this is adding a whole new feature. Always pretend we're attacking as a monster. Only monsters have status attacks. Hence, we must pretend. Again, I love the commenting style. If an actual monster attacks, the same override triggers anyway. Not a problem, since pretending to be a monster for an actual monster is just running the game's code as intended. We did not load a 0, it's totally a 1. So this is... anytime this routine is called in the run of the game, it sets the status attack, and it literally sets a register in memory to... I don't know if you would say sets it to 1. It's more like act as if we set it to 1. So it's running a form of processing that you wouldn't normally do for characters. Because characters have a different set of rules than monsters. I'm just a little scared about dumping all these interrupts into my script, but maybe they're fine. I wonder if the only thing that was causing the conflict between the two scripts might have been the UI change. I don't think we need this information anymore, but I'll leave it there. Yeah, this was a nice idea, reading the monster spells and attacks from ROM instead of literally including a giant list of text. But I don't know how to do that dynamically. I also wonder, is that slower? And it might be. Having to read more memory. So everything that happens to the GUI is all at the end, right? Yeah. You know what I might be able to do is import import the entire script except this. We're gonna try it. We're gonna try it. This may or may not make sense. Here's what I'm planning to do. The only thing that this function does is, I think this is the newest part, and this might be why it worked in 2018 and not in 2025. This is where all the GUI changes happen. Wait a second. If I make all the GUI changes happen in my script, the problem with this is that this GUI call... Aha. Notice this? I was using GUI register for a while and then I changed it so that I didn't. What if I do require monster actions? I'm kind of expecting a crash here. By removing that call to Combat HD, it might be that the two scripts are no longer in conflict. This is party info. The monster actions are part of it. It would be really... I did very little there. I checked things. It would be really strange if this started working. Oh my god, it's working. Ish. The opacity needs to be changed is all. Okay, let's look up GUI.txt. I think this is oddly close. Okay. X, Y, they're in the right places. The spell or skill, that's the string. Text color background? I think we're going to need a box to cover up the word magic. That's pretty good. Does it work? Oh, this is pretty. Except for the sprites. You know, the other thing is I should change the black background to getting a pixel color from the background, because during the screen flashes, it looks kind of silly. Oh, this is nice. Okay, suppose I save a state. Oh, I just got a funny result there. Okay. I will reset the game. I'll go new game. I'll make a team of random idiots. There can be me. And my youngest would use this name. And Jub's here. Or was. Probably not, because there wasn't a lot productive going on here for a while. And I should include Fat Rat Knight. It is a thing of beauty. Okay. These names are not long for this world. But let's save a state. We will call this state, like Morphers or something. Apparently I'm very bad at typing. I keep going between different keyboards, and I constantly find, especially when they reverse... am I recreating Final Fantasy? No, I'm screwing with Final Fantasy is what I'm doing, Seeds. Screwing with it. So, alright. We've got a party. They're normal. Everything's normal. Cool. Then, we pull up our other app, and we deselect monsters. We will actually pick 4 super weak monsters. We will pick Bone... we want Imp. Imp, Pirate, and Wolf. Imp. Deselect that. Deselect that. Pirate is there. We'll deselect Spider. It's too strong for us. And Wolf. Okay, get rid of these ones. This shows I have 5 monsters available. So, where are my monsters at? Bone... Well, actually, I can just go here, right? Medusa's still selected. Where's Medusa? Alphabetic. Okay. We'll set our party. We'll put whichever one of these robust creatures is the strongest at the top. Wolf. Imp. This is a little sad. Pirate. Now, Pirate's damage is at least okay. Alright. I was gonna ask why you don't just grab the C++ dumps. Yeah. That's great. So, okay, I'm going to restart the script. Oh, yeah, we already have our party names. We now have the stats of a wolf, the stats of an imp. You'll see our HP values are very poor. So, this has actually worked. We get 1 extra hit point. Oh, I found a minor error in the script here. And that is our current hit points are always getting set based on if they're higher than our max HP. We need to set that to be like this. Oh wait, no, it's actually this. This is our new HP value. Okay. So, if I were to go heal up. If I were to go heal up. Okay. Oh, it didn't work. You know why? Because I didn't restart the friggin' script. Okay, if I go heal up again. Whoa, okay. Emulation's getting a little mad at me. Okay, there we go. Okay, here's where I hope things are gonna get cool. Let's get into a fight. Oops. Or we can walk into the friggin' town again. Oh, yes. Yes, look at this! My HP is still wrong. I don't know why that is. Okay, so if I defeat these wolves... Why is my HP wrong? Oh. I think I spotted that. Okay. Okay, we are strong enough to beat a wolf. We should go recruit a new monster. And then we've got basically, it's not well tested, but it's proof of concept for the whole script. Besides that, I think I might want to pretty up the little icons. Do you think we can beat a Gurimp? That'd be really good. They're right around here. They have pretty good absorb for a wimpy, funny named little enemy. We are now just playing Final Fantasy I as illegitimately as possible. So, Seeds, if you didn't get the drift yet, and I don't know what you know about Final Fantasy, but this is now Final Fantasy I, but you play as the monsters. And I think we're pretty well there. Oh, I'd love to recruit Spider. Oh, but they killed me. Oh, no. This is a terrible thing. I don't think we're going to make it through this, Imp and Bone. Oh, dear. Okay. Wolf party perished. In and out of meetings, whatnot. Yeah. Passive listening. What was funny was the idea emerged 7 years ago in a set of old forum threads, and just, it was this reading week when I was like, I'd really like to put that together. Okay, Gurimps. I would love to recruit Gurimps. All we need to do is beat some monster. Oh my god. Such that we make like a form of progress. Come on, come on. No! Oh, terrible. I don't really care about you imps. I want the real imps. I said the real imps. Oh, we're not gonna win this one. It would be awesome if we did. Maybe we will. Oh! Okay. Add player sprites trying to make it through the game, level up and get stronger, but the players... That would be funny. That would be really cool. I think that's out of scope for me right now, but it's attainable, right? Okay, so what this means is we have now added Mad Pony to our pool of monsters. Mad Ponies are beasts. Look at these guys. 64 hit points, 2 hits of 10 damage, 2 absorb. Oh, man. Okay, so what's going to happen here is I'm going to end the fight. And I'm going to switch Wolf to be Mad Pony. Imp to be Wolf. Bone to be Imp, because I like their 4 absorb, I guess. They're terrible on the offense. Maybe I would rather have Bone. Okay, so... Pyra is still dead. Okay. Okay, if we can get back and rest, we've got a Mad Pony now. And Mad Pony is... wonderful. I think we're looking at... Okay. Are our hit points correct? Oh, Pyra's still dead. I feel like now that I have Mad Pony, I'm gonna crush everything. The other thing that I was thinking would be cool, and it is attainable with this script, is playing as the final boss. Can the final boss beat the entire game? Okay. What monster do I want next? Gurimp would still be nice. I mean, wolves are good, but we can do better. Look at that pony sprite, it's awful. Oh my god. The big sprites look way worse in this than the others. Okay. Bone and Pirate, you can both attack the bottom one. Good. Why are their hit points displaying just a little bit funny in battle? Everyone's 2 hit points short of their max. Oops. Everyone's showing is 2 hit points higher than they actually are, right? Oh, I know why. It's because for the display purpose... Maybe I don't know why. This should be writing their hit points to memory. Okay, get the character's level, multiply by 2, get the number of available monsters, multiply by 1, add those all together with the monster's original hit points. So Wolf had 20, they get 0 for level, and 5 for having 5 monsters available. So their max hit points are 25. Why in battle is their hit points displaying as something higher? Their max hit points is showing as 27. Why? Only in the GUI readout. Read word base offset party HP max. That part's fine. Seeing as we're literally writing the hit points we want into memory, I'm gonna ruminate on that while I try and upgrade new monsters. Imagine picking Pirate over Imp. Never thought I'd do that. Oh, their damage is displaying kind of funny too. What's going on with the mins and maxes there? Damage 8 out of 10, 4 out of 8. 10. Why? Something's affecting the monsters later. I need to identify at what point that happens. Did you increase the current hit points along with the max hit points? No, and what's funny is, as far as I can tell, the current hit points are always displaying fine. What I did do to the current hit points, it's in part of what's on screen, but I know it's probably tiny, is I did make it so that the if I were to like downgrade a monster's hit points, oh, the Mad Pony's only doing 7 damage. Oh no, Bone died. If you exceed your max hit points, your current hit points go equal to your max hit points. There, Wolf's hit points started displaying properly. Well, let's just get back to town. I need a couple better monsters. I was so happy about the Mad Pony, I thought it was going to carry me, but it doesn't. And I think it's because of an error. I don't know the nature of the error, unfortunately. Need to see it a bit more. I'd love to meet a Gur-Imp, or maybe one of those spiders. Okay, watch my stats. Okay, HPs are still wrong, only right now. Here's where we set the hit points. We write to memory at the party's max HP offset. It works, we get the new HP value. The max HP value is accurate outside of battle, but in battle it's too high by 2 points, seemingly. Luck is normal. Damage is not normal. Wolf's damage is displaying as 4 out of 8, but a wolf's damage is 8. Is it that the in-battle value never got reset? Because that 8 that Mad Pony has is Wolf's original value. I could overwrite the monster's in-battle stats, but those should be reset at the start of every battle. I do think that's what's happening. The reason the Wolves absorb is 4 out of 0 is because an Imp has 4 absorb. So, like, somehow it's as if Imp is still... Oh, I got it. It's a conflict with this. It's a conflict with Char Tamon's IDs. Only updating once. Only when this file runs. So, if party info has indexes, like basically if we could update this once per frame, can I just do that in my script since I've imported it? It's local, isn't it? Does not like. Okay. Does that fix it? It'll fix part of it. I don't think it's the HP thing. I'll probably need to start a new battle to see it. Okay, that's accurate now. Wonderful. So that was before it was Mad Pony having the stats of a wolf and Wolf having the stats of an imp. That's why they were terrible. Mad Pony should be crushing it now. That's maybe that's just me being optimistic. Okay, Gurimps have some absorb. Oh, and Mad Pony missed entirely. We're gonna have to pile on one and hope we live. Oh. Yes. Okay, okay. Madpa and Bone got level 2. That's great. We also add Gurimp to the team. So I go over to my monster list. We Gurimp. And I set the team. Gurimp. 16. It's better than Wolf. Wolf. Bone? Is Bone better than Pirate? The answer is yes. Oh my, this is fun. What's funny is the characters are like kind of in the background. These are now the level 2 guys up at the top. The actual character ID is irrelevant for for basically any statistic purpose other than level. But the way Final Fantasy combat works is still underlying this whole thing. So, you know, the monsters are still attacking the characters at the top more than the characters at the bottom. So you want your tankiest monster at the top. There's technically a use case for some of those very high defense enemies like slimes or something. Oh, I didn't revive anyone. Oops. Hit points are still a little funny until the very end of combat. What is it about the end of combat that makes it go normal? I can't afford... What? What? Oh, my revives cost a lot of money. Yikers. Okay, we have to fight a few battles for money, apparently. I was not expecting that being an issue. Wolf's probably gonna die again. Yeah. Drag. Okay, let's fight like 5 battles, make sure we have enough money to revive everybody, and go to the inn. Oh, live, Garimp, live! We're getting too weak. Oh, no. How much money we got? Oh, not that. 79. That's not quite enough for 1 revival and 1 in-stay, unfortunately. Okay, that went poorly. Do I have to reset my monster list? Oh, Gurimp died again. What's my money at? Okay, that's doable at least. You know, if I could win 1 more fight... Yeah, I can win 1 more fight. Mad Pony is a tank. I'm dying. Alright. This is super great. Is this the kind of struggle that I could expect if I were actually playing through the game like this? Oops. Oh well. Okay. Get out of my way, Arilon the Dancer. I think maybe the rule should be if the party wipes, you have to remove one monster or something like that. Because otherwise it's just going to be impractical to track. Oh, perfect Mad Pony behavior. The hit points are still funny. You know, I could probably resize every one of these sprites to 24 by 24 pixels and still display them nicely. That will be the new plan, I think. Oh no. Mad Pony versus Mad Pony. We did great. Are we able to revive our last friend yet? Equipment literally does nothing. Oh, look at that. The way the money works out. It costs 30 bucks to stay at the inn, so this is like perfect. Oh my goodness. This is going well. If my biggest problem is those 2 extra hit points and the ugly monster sprites. Although, you know, we haven't done exhaustive testing with specials, which was the biggest hang-up a couple years ago. Okay, watch the hit points. They go back to normal right now, right at the end. Why? Could it have to do with the way a party member's level is stored? Could that be changing in battle versus out of battle? $60, $100, and... $26. Bone gained a level, so that's nice. I want to see, does that number go up to 2? It does! That's so weird! Why? Can you put... That's just strange. Why? In battle, a character's level, which isn't used for mechanics at all, goes up by 1 to their actual calculated level. Now I'm thinking, like, I can use the battle flag to account for that, but is that going to result in my hit points always being too low by 2 when their max HP is exceeded? Oh my goodness, that is so strange. Okay, so if we use the in-battle offset, it's 1 when in battle. Oh, this is a dumb thing to account for, but at least it's an answer. Oh, man. This is so weird. Okay, here's the party member's level. The in-battle bite, 0 in battle, 1 out of battle. Zero in battle, 1 out of battle. So this is so dumb. It has to be lower by 1. 0 in battle, 1 out of battle. You know what I'm going to do is I'm only going to recalculate the hit points outside of battle. If it's 1, then and now I'm getting actual errors. 487. Oh my god. Okay. It's too late for this change to take effect, but we're going to see now. Only going to set the HP value when we're outside of battle. Probably going to work. Okay. Okay, Bones. Let's... I was going to say kill you, but that sounds stupid. Gurim took a lot of damage there. I think I might use a heal potion. I want to get at least one more monster. I would like to run into a zombie or a spider. Either way, I'd prefer if it were a small number. 2 spiders might still stun. Oh no, these guys are too tough. No way. We can't beat them. Okay. Oh, that's a lot of zombies. Are zombies better than bones? Maybe like a little. Oh, good job, Mad Pony. You are a pony that is mad. Hey. Whoa! Bone delivered a massive crit. Okay. We have recruited Zombie. Is Zombie better than Bone? Yes. Boy, the start of the game is always going to be awful, isn't it? I'm going to have to play this whole part again, too. Zombie's HP is not updating. So I've done something wrong here. Like, Wolf has 10 extra hit points. Burimp has 10 extra hit points. I mean, that makes sense. They're all gonna have 10 extra. Zombie does not have 10 extra. I've messed something up. Maybe it's more correct to say that the developers of Final Fantasy messed something up. I could do this. It's awful. It's awful. Ugh. Nobody liked that. Okay. Oh my god! Oh, what have I done? Holy crap, that's terrible. What is going on? They're 57. Okay, we're gonna take this back a little. Okay, here we're gonna make a note. We're gonna go, okay, in battle. FF1 adds 1 to the player's level exclusively during battle. So in battle is going to be in battle is going to equal to 0 if memory in battle off read byte equals 0, which means we're in battle. Then in battle equals -1. We're going to do all these steps. This is hideous, but it's not... I'm going to go ahead and shift all the blame away from myself. Okay, in-battle offset. The value at in-battle offset is 0 in battle and 1 out of battle, which is backwards from what I would expect, but I don't get to write the rules of Final Fantasy 1. Well, sort of, I'm rewriting them. If it's 0, we're in battle at -1. Okay, HP from level plus in battle. Level adjustment. Oh my goodness. Okay. Yes. Gurrimp has 9 extra hit points. Wolf has 9 extra hit points. They're level 2, so they should have 2 from level, which means 7 from monsters? That makes sense. Displaying properly. It'd be really funny if I could make them do the victory dance. I don't know, that's not really one of my priorities, but wouldn't it be great to beat Garland? Can these guys beat Garland? Gonna fast forward. Their damage is very bad. Might not be coming together without a crit. Oh my goodness. Oh, that was pretty good. Aww. The script's fixed. Like, I should take some positives in that. Levels, like, have a small amount of impact now. If I could get a ghoul or a single creep, that'd be nice. Single creep. I can beat a single creep. I think I'm gonna make Creep the leader. Creep, Mad Pony, Grimp, and Wolf. Now we can beat Garland. Look how cute the little creep is! Oh my goodness. The creep sprite is... It's funny because it's supposed to be hideous, but like somehow hideous and hideous sprites are canceling out and it just looks awesome. It's definitely my favorite. The damage values are wrong again. And the absorb values are wrong, so something's up with it reading from the party again. And now all our HP values are off by 2. I wonder if that's just gonna happen in the status screen? Oh no. Bad first turn for Wolf. Okay, it seems like every time I change the party, I have to restart the script. Which is pretty painless. I'm not losing anything in the course of that. Okay. Grimp. Mad Pony. Creep. Garland. We now have Garland on the team. That's fun. With Garland, I can almost certainly beat an Ogre. That would be a real asset. Now, which 4 monsters are going to be able to beat Astos? Look at the little Garland! This is so great! Okay. Oh, Gurimp's dead still. I should fix that. Oh, these guys are probably also using their old stats. Yeah. I don't think I'll buy more potions right now. Although, really, the only thing I'm going to be spending money on is inns, revives, and potions. I wonder how status effects are going to impact me during this game. I guess the monsters that resist status flags are still going to resist status flags. Ooh. It's not actually very good, is it? But let's try and beat it. Garl. Good job, Kree. Okay. There we go. So, I think when I'm playing this as like an actual stream, I'm not going to need like the development environment open. That would be kind of weird. So, I'll have this just kind of sitting there. I would like to fix the thing where the monster stats aren't updated when I change the party. Iguanas have 18 damage and 12 absorb? Okay, Mad Pony. Creep. Iguana. That's fantastic. I might want Iguana in front. Then I click restart, and I go back to the game. We should be able to take on an ogre easily now. The iguana is so funny looking. Oh, goodness. Oh, that's a bad fight. Oh, Mad Pony killed Mad Pony. Against the strike first, I should probably do it. I mean, I'm not gaining a whole lot from it, but not a hard fight. Levels are levels. Okay. I'm hunting an ogre now. The one who defeats the ogre will be named champion. Okay. Do I want to do this? These Gerwolves, Wargwolves, are pretty tough. It might be better than a Mad Pony. That was a good hit. They got no armor. Okay. $14 damage. Oops. You know, I don't think they're as good as a Mad Pony. I'm leaving Mad Pony in. Where's the ogre at? No. Kind of just for fun. All we gain is the you know, experience is not the asset it normally is, because every level only adds 2 hit points. Ew. Not a profitable fight for the challenge. Okay. Ogre, where are you? No, we just did this fight. Is this profitable? Not really. I could go beat the pirates and then fight a shark. Sharks, I expect, are going to be really good in the early game. Are ogres rare here? I feel like I always run into ogres around Pravoka. You might even say I provoke encounters with ogres. We're gonna need a rest. Okay. The behavior of hit points is still really weird, and given how it works, I'm not sure how easy that's going to be to fix. I might just tolerate it, because it's a difference of 2 hit points, and literally nothing else. Right now, it's working perfectly. I think it stops working when I go into the status screen. Oh, there it stopped, for some reason. Maybe it was because of the end of a fight? If I didn't have level-based HP bonuses, it wouldn't matter, but I do. And that's really just, you know, I'd like level to mean something, or if the party were to encounter a difficult-to-surmount challenge, you go gain a few levels and you get some hit points. That's a nice idea to me, having some kind of progression path. Where are the ogres? Let's just fight some pirates. Pirates should be pretty easy, I think. We had a pirate on our team earlier. We don't get to add them to our team because we already had them on our team. They're very weak. 6 hit points. Great job, team. We beat the pirates. Now we can recruit a shark. Yeah, I think generally getting the sea creatures is going to be good. Okay, Kaizoku will not be useful to us. But we got him. I'll click it off. But I'm not changing the team. Same with the Sahags. The Odd Eyes are interesting because they're the first enemy that actually has a move. Okay, let's beat this shark. Sharks have, I think, pretty good evasion. Mad Pony just crushed it. Oh my goodness. That was easy. Okay, sharks. Low absorb, 22 damage, high HP. Ooh. I'd really like to fight an Odd Eye. Ooh, a cute little shark. Garland, 13 damage. Creep, 24 damage. Okay. Stats are looking the way I'd expect. Dark Mist! Well, no, also missed. Okay. Who's the weakest here? Garland, I guess. I think Garland might have the best hit, though. 27. Oh, no, Shark does. I just saw Shark miss. $38. Nice. Let's go up to Corneria to rest. Because it's cheaper. Oops. It's funny when we have very, very little use for money in this version of this playthrough. And yet, it's felt short a couple times. No, not like that. I would really like to get Odd Eye. Here, Odd Eye. There we go. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to check off Odd Eye. I'm going to check off Sahag, because I don't think I ever did that. And then, I would really like to see Odd Eye in battle. I'm going to save a state for testing. Let's go, like, fight an ogre. Ogres are always over here. Yeah, okay. Odd Eye has 31 hit points right now with its bonuses, and it has Gaze. So we will gaze upon the bottom ogre. Paralyzed. Oh, that's a thing of beauty. It worked, and it looked cool. Should I also gaze this one? I guess so, because Odd Eyes have, like, no attack ability. In fact, Odd Eyes might be the way to beat Astos. Yeah, Odd Eyes are the only monster that uses any kind of magic or special ability prior to Astos. It might have been a lucky shot that the first one worked. I guess we'll attack. Odd Eyes can't even attack in the base game, believe it or not. They literally have 0% chance of using a physical attack. They just attempt to gaze every turn. Okay. We have caught Ogre. And if I change the party to include Ogre and restart, Ogres are pretty strong. 18 damage, really good absorb. Should I put them above Garland? I guess not. Garland has more hit points by some pitiful amount. This is awesome. Everything's working. I think I might be ready to do an actual full playthrough of this. I mean, I am a solid 10% through the game now. But it will be interesting to see what different monsters give you as options. I think I should be done. I think there's tweaks I want to do to the actual scripts. I think the images I should fix. I think that the black backgrounds need to be tweaked. And there's some cleanup I could do. But this is really good. I'm really happy this is working this well. I wasn't expecting this level of functionality, especially today. Really, it's been about a week of putting time in, mostly in the evenings. Mostly, like, I take my kids to their dance classes, and, like, I'm doing the coding in the dance studio, not paying attention to the other moms. And they're like, why does that dance dad hate me? That's what's been happening. Yeah. Save available monsters. Save it as Elfland. And save party setup. Save it as Elf Party. There we go. There's our elf party. Pretty good elf party. Igua, Garl, Big Buff Garl, Shark, and Ogre. Pretty sweet. I don't know what else to say. I think I'm done. I think next time I play with this, it's going to be an actual playthrough. And I'm in the middle of a different novelty playthrough that I'm not streaming, so I'm going to probably backburner this a little bit, but I'm really excited to do it when the time comes. I'm excited to share this back to the FF1 board and with Fat Rat Night. I hope everyone will think it's as cool as I do. I think this is awesome. Anyway, I think I'll be done. Is there someone who I'm supposed to, like... Do I have any viewers right now? Who's watching? A couple people. Okay. I don't know. I think a raid would be pretty pointless. Let me just go ahead and not do that. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap up for now. This is quite an adventure. It'd be nice to talk more about the C# app. And it does need fixes, by the way. The one thing that's so weird that I tried to fix and could not fully explain, and for some reason has friggin' fixed itself right now as I say it, is I couldn't get the red gargoyle to display. Just the red gargoyle. It was the only monster that would only display black. Actually, red gargoyle and in some cases chaos. Chaos is still showing as black. This is fun. Okay. Well, I'm gonna be done. This was pretty neat. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for joining in the chat, especially Seeds. Those were fun ideas. And Jujube earlier, it was a legitimately useful troubleshooting question. I appreciate that. Thanks.